Many men and women of great faith have been led to believe a terrible lie, a deceptive whisper that undermines their deepest convictions. They have been convinced that a situation they cannot fix, a challenge that looms insurmountable, is a clear sign of their own profound failure, or worse, a devastating indication of Dio's absence from their lives. They carry this crushing weight, this silent, gnawing shame, internalizing the belief that their unmovable mountain is a monument, not to a divine test, but to their inherent weakness, a testament to their personal inadequacy. But that, my dear friend, is the most profound and crippling misunderstanding of the spiritual life, a dangerous distortion of the truth that binds the soul. The truth, in its liberating power, is that circumstance which you cannot bend with your own will, that door you cannot force open with your own strength, that wound in your spirit that you cannot heal through any human means, is not your disgrace. It is not a mark of your defeat. Instead, it is your very invitation. It is the sacred ground upon which Dios, in his magnificent wisdom, intends to build his tabernacle of glory, a place where his presence will be undeniably manifest. It is the stage meticulously cleared of all human pride, all self-reliance, and every ounce of human ingenuity, where he alone will perform the central defining act of your story, proving to a watching world that what is utterly impossible for you is simply the majestic beginning of his magnificent world-altering work. Your current exhaustion, that deep weariness that settles into your very bones, is not an end to your journey. It is in fact a holy threshold, a sacred boundary you have reached. You have arrived at the absolute edge of your own finite strength, the frontier of your own limited wisdom, and you gaze out upon a landscape that appears barren, desolate, and utterly final. You have, by all accounts, exhausted every human effort. You have knocked on every conceivable door. You have reasoned with every adversary. You have pleaded with every available resource. And you have, it seems, spent your very last coin of hope. Every logical path has dead-ended, and every human solution has proven insufficient. But hear me now, for this is not merely a word of fleeting human comfort or a gentle suggestion born of optimism, but a thunderous declaration from the very throne of heaven. Dios will handle it. This is not a polite offering of assistance. It is a divine decree, an unchangeable pronouncement from the Almighty. The very thing that has brought you to your knees, that seemingly insurmountable obstacle that has caused your spirit to falter, is the very thing that will ultimately cause you to witness with your own eyes the same power that parted the mighty Red Sea. It is the same immortal, boundless and eternal that conquered the grim reality of the grave, and the unwavering faithfulness that has never, not once in all of eternity, failed a single one of his beloved children. This is his promise, etched in the annals of time. We carry burdens in the hollow places of our souls, not merely as weights upon our shoulders, but as silent anchors that drag at the very core of our being. They are hidden behind practiced smiles and quiet nods, masked by the bravado we put on for the world, yet they consume us from within. We wrestle with these unseen adversaries in the deep of the night, when the world is asleep and the only sound is the persistent, unsettling rhythm of our own anxious hearts. We cry in secret, believing no one sees, no one truly understands the true, crushing weight of our struggle, convinced that our anguish is too personal, too profound for any other to bear witness. But I have come today to announce to you a glorious, liberating truth. You are seen. The living Dios, the eternal El Roy, the Dios who sees every tear, every tremor, every hidden fear, has his compassionate, all-knowing eyes upon you. He is not pacing in heaven, wringing his hands in worry over your predicament, as if caught off guard by the storms of your life. He is not surprised by your crisis. It is not a disruption to his eternal plan. No, my friend, he is preparing in his infinite wisdom, moving with deliberate purpose. He knew the problem before you were even born into this world, and in his boundless foreknowledge, he wrote the solution in the very fabric of the stars before time itself began. Your pain, your private agony, has not escaped his notice. On the contrary, it has captured his full, undivided, and loving attention. You believe it is impossible because you are measuring the monumental mountain of your challenge with your own limited, fallible instruments. You look at your empty hands, devoid of resources, your depleted and insufficient reserves, your personal history of mistakes and shortcomings, and you conclude with a sigh of resignation that the case is undeniably closed. But Dios, the creator of all, is not limited by the meager tools in your possession, nor by the extent of your past failures. He is not constrained by your history, no matter how checkered. He is not intimidated by the ferocity of your adversary, no matter how powerful they seem, and he is certainly not impressed by the sheer size or complexity of your mountain. He is the one who formed the mountains with a mere word, shaping the very earth with a whispered command. Your giant, the formidable foe that looms before you, is but a tiny pebble in his mighty hand. He specializes in the impossible, that is his exclusive domain, the very realm where his glory shines most brightly, undiluted by any human effort or achievement. If you, in your own strength, could solve this overwhelming problem, then the fleeting glory would be yours. But precisely because you cannot, the victory, when it comes, will be his, and his alone, an undeniable testament to his boundless power. When you reach the absolute, undeniable end of your human ability, that critical juncture is not the point of collapse or ultimate failure. It is in fact the point of coronation, a sacred moment. It is where Dios's glory begins to unfold in ways you could never have imagined. When you have made your very last move on the complex chessboard of life, with no further options left, that is precisely when Dios steps in, not merely to make a move, but to overturn the entire table, redefining the game itself. When your strength has utterly failed, when you feel completely spent, it is then that his strength, perfect and inexhaustible, is made manifest. While others may walk away from your situation, shaking their heads and seeing only a lost cause, Dios stands firm and unwavering beside you, for he sees not a failure, but a vessel ready to be filled, a life prepared to overflow with his divine power. Do not be deceived by the superficial evidence that your natural eyes perceive, for the spiritual reality is far grander. Dios works in the profound silence. He moves in the most intricate mysteries, and he orchestrates breathtaking victories in ways that defy all human logic and expectation, until the miracle is fully manifest before your very eyes. Your part in this divine drama is not to comprehend the complex how, but simply to trust the omnipotent WHO. Perhaps you are currently facing a devastating diagnosis from a doctor, a medical report that has shattered your spirit and stolen your hope for any future joy. Or maybe it is a relationship, once a vibrant source of life and comfort, that has left you bleeding internally, a deep wound that no apology, no matter how sincere, can seem to close. For many, it is the relentless, suffocating pressure of poverty, a daily, exhausting battle for basic dignity and sheer survival, a struggle that never seems to end. For others, it is the sharp, unexpected sting of betrayal from one you deeply trusted, a poison that contaminates precious memories and breeds a debilitating suspicion in every new encounter. Or maybe it is the formless, suffocating weight of anxiety, the constant gnawing fear of what tomorrow may hold, an unseen enemy that robs you of peace. To every single one of these looming giants, these overwhelming challenges, I declare with the unwavering authority of heaven, Dios will handle it, He is not asking for your intellectual understanding of his methods. He is asking for your complete, unreserved trust. He is not waiting for your qualifications, your perfect performance, or your flawless record. He is waiting for your complete, heartfelt surrender. I have heard it countless times from good, honest, well-meaning people. I have tried everything humanly possible, and absolutely nothing works. But I must ask you, with all the amoral or the divine love in my heart, have you truly, completely given it to Dios? Not partially, not with one hand still gripping a desperate backup plan, not with a carefully curated list of conditions he must meet before you fully release it. Have you, with an act of profound faith, laid it upon the altar of absolute trust, then turned and walked away with the settled, unshakable peace of a child who has placed his broken, cherished toy in his infinitely capable Father's hands? Have you truly said from the deepest chambers of your being, Dios, I cannot fix this. I release it entirely, unequivocally to you, trusting not in what I see with my limited eyes, but in who you are, your character, your power, your unfailing love. That, my friend, is the birthplace of true, abiding peace. That is the genesis of profound transformation. It is in that precise moment of absolute, unconditional release that the mighty sovereign hand of the Almighty begins to move mountains on your behalf, often in ways you could never have conceived. You see, Dios does not require favorable conditions, ideal circumstances, or perfect alignment of external factors to perform his miraculous work. He does not check the volatile stock market before he decides to lavish his blessings upon you. He does not poll your skeptical neighbors for their approval before he lifts you up from your despair. He does not ask for permission from your past failures or your lingering regrets to unlock your glorious, divinely ordained future. He is the sovereign Lord of all creation, the unquestionable ruler of the universe. He speaks, and entire worlds, with their intricate complexities, instantaneously come into being. He commands, and the fiercest storms and the most tumultuous seas obey him without question. He calls forth light out of absolute, impenetrable darkness, and it shines with undeniable brilliance. He is the one who opens doors that no man, no power, no entity can ever shut, and he shuts doors that no man can ever open. He still parts the seas for those who dare to walk in faith even when the path seems impossible, and he still makes a highway in the wilderness, forging a way where there was previously no way at all. There is a celestial power, an otherworldly strength that is undeniably unleashed when you call upon the sacred name of the Lord in your absolute lowest, most desperate hour. There is a supernatural resilience, a divine fortitude that flows into your very being when you choose to kneel in worship and adoration while the world around you fully expects you to collapse in utter defeat. There is a miracle waiting, a divine intervention poised to manifest in that midnight moment when all human hope seems irrevocably lost, when the darkness is so tangible it feels suffocating, and yet from the profound depths of your spirit you whisper, I still believe. The very pain you are enduring now, that agonizing trial that threatens to consume you, may be a crucial, indispensable part of your divine preparation. The delay that frustrates you, that tests your patience to its limits, may be a divine appointment in disguise, perfectly timed by the hand of God. The deafening silence that surrounds you, that feels like a void, may in fact be a sacred space where Dios is doing his deepest, most transformative work within your soul. The breakthrough is coming not because of your merit, your worthiness, or your perfect performance, but because of his boundless, unfailing mercy. There is no situation so utterly dead, so irrevocably lost, that Dios, the author of life, cannot resurrect it and breathe new life into it. Think of Lazarus. meticulously wrapped in grave clothes, sealed tightly in a tomb for 4 long days. By every human standard, by all logical assessment, it was undeniably over. But Jesus arrived, not on human time, but on his perfect time, and spoke a single potent word, "Come forth." And what was dead, remarkably, miraculously lived again. There is no heart so profoundly broken that Dios cannot tenderly restore it. He is the master potter, and even when the vessel is shattered into 1,000 seemingly irretrievable pieces, he can gather them with infinite care and make something far more beautiful, more resilient, and more meaningful than before. There is no future so uncertain, so shrouded in doubt, that Dios cannot secure it with his sovereign hand. He holds all of your tomorrows, with all their intricate possibilities, firmly in his hand. He has done it before, time and again, and he will do it again for you. He rescued you from countless dangers you never even saw, protecting you with his unseen hand. He has held you this far, sustained you through every trial. He will not, he cannot abandon you now. Some of you have been waiting for a clear sign, a tangible miracle, a definitive breakthrough, and the weariness has settled deeply into your bones, a constant companion. You feel it is now definitively too late. The opportunity, you believe, has passed irrevocably. The promise, once so vibrant, has expired, its expiry date long past. But I want to tell you a profound, life-altering truth. Dios is never late. He is never early in a way that disrupts his perfect plan. He is always precisely, perfectly on time. Not on your time, which is so often governed by anxiety, impatience, and human deadlines, but on his time, which is governed by eternal wisdom and an unchangeable purpose. And when his time finally comes, it will be so perfect, so divinely orchestrated, so utterly undeniable, that all you can do is fall on your face in awe and profound wonder. The doors you could not budge, the ones that seemed permanently sealed, will swing open wide with a divine force. The chains of addiction, the shackles of fear, the burdens of regret that have bound you for so long will crumble to dust, losing all their power. The very foundation of your life, once seemingly so rigid, will shift in an instant, realigning with his divine will. The tears you have cried in the lonely darkness of your struggle will not be wasted. They will be transformed miraculously into the very strength you will carry with grace and purpose in the daylight of your ultimate victory. The pain that pressed you down, that you thought would utterly crush your spirit, will become the solid, unshakable foundation upon which Dios elevates you to new heights of purpose and influence, far beyond your imagination. He wastes absolutely nothing, not a single moment of your waiting, no matter how long it has felt, not a single tear that fell from your eyes, each one gathered and treasured, not a single heartbreak that tore you apart, leaving you feeling fragmented. The book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28, assures us with unwavering certainty that he works all things, even the most difficult and painful, together for the ultimate good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. Your pain, your current suffering is not purposeless. It is being meticulously woven into a magnificent tapestry of his grand purpose, a masterpiece of his grace that will leave you breathless, stunned by its beauty and intricacy when you finally see it completed. If you believe his word is true, I invite you to declare Amen in the comments, sealing this precious promise deep within your spirit. I know from countless conversations and personal experiences how incredibly difficult it is to believe when you have been waiting for so very long, when the answer seems endlessly delayed. I understand that the profound silence of Dios when you cry out and hear no immediate response can sometimes feel like a painful rejection, like a closed heaven, unresponsive to your desperate pleas. But let me remind you of a critical foundational truth, my friend. Dio's silence is not in any way his absence or his indifference. Sometimes his silence is actually a powerful sign of intense strategic preparation, a deep unseen work. Like a great general meticulously planning his strategy before a decisive monumental battle, he is working tirelessly behind the scenes, orchestrating every detail with perfect precision. In that silence, he is building your faith, strengthening it layer by layer. He is forging your character, refining it like precious steel in a scorching fire, making you resilient and unyielding. And with his boundless love, he is lovingly removing the things from your life that you do not truly need, those false dependencies, so that he can bless you with what you genuinely do need, what will serve his eternal purpose. Do not try to rush this sacred transformative process. Do not abort the mission in the final critical hour. Do not surrender the promise just before the glorious dawn breaks. What is undeniably impossible with man, what defies all human logic and capability is, and has always been, the exclusive specialty of Dios. You are not forgotten in the vastness of the universe. You are not abandoned to your own devices. You are not overlooked by the creator of the universe, who knows every star by name. The very situation that caused others to walk away from you in judgment, in dismissal, or in fear, is the very situation that Dios is actively walking toward with immense power, profound compassion, and unwavering resolve. The mess you currently find yourself in, that tangled web of problems and despair, he is about to turn into a powerful message of his redeeming, transforming grace, a testimony for others to witness. The pain you have carried for so long, that heavy burden that has weighed down your spirit, he is about to convert into a divine purpose that will touch countless other lives, bringing them hope and healing. The struggle that made you weep tears of sorrow will be the very same struggle that draws you into an intimacy with him that you never even dreamed possible, a closeness forged in fire. He does not waste our suffering. He masterfully transforms it into something glorious. Dios sees every sleepless night when you toss and turn, your mind racing with a torrent of worries and anxieties. He hears every unspoken prayer that your heart cries out in desperation, even when words fail you and your spirit can only groan. He catches every single tear that falls from your eye. Not one is lost or forgotten in his sight, and he is closer to you in these moments of vulnerability than you can possibly imagine, nearer than your very breath. He is not a distant, detached deity watching dispassionately from the clouds, observing your struggles without involvement. The scriptures tell us in Psalm 34, verse 18, that he is near to the brokenhearted. He saves those who are crushed in spirit, those whose hopes have been dashed. He is strength for the weary soul. He is a steadfast refuge in the fiercest storm. He is your ever-present, unfailing help in your time of profound need. You do not have to shout to reach him. His ear is already inclined to your faintest whisper, to the silent cry of your heart. You do not have to fight this battle alone, bearing the weight by yourself. He is already actively fighting for you, standing as your champion. Faith is not a denial of reality. It is not pretending that the storm does not exist, or that the winds are not raging. It is not denying the piercing reality of your pain or the intimidating size of your mountain. True faith is looking that storm squarely in the eye, acknowledging its power, and yet with an unshakable conviction declaring that Dios is still undeniably in control, even when absolutely nothing makes any logical sense to your human mind. Faith is standing bravely in the midst of the fiercest fire, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and knowing deep within your soul that the flames cannot consume you, because the one who walks with you in the fire is infinitely greater than the fire itself. It is holding on with tenacious grip when there is no logical reason left to hold on, no visible sign of hope, except for the unshakable belief in your soul that Dios is still Dios, unchanging and all-powerful, and He is eternally faithful to His word, to every promise He has ever made. And hear me well, my beloved friend, for this is a truth to anchor your soul. Dios is not done with you yet. His plans for you are still unfolding. His purpose is still being realized. I do not care how far you believe you have fallen, how deep the pit of your despair seems, or how utterly hopeless your situation appears in the cold light of day. If there is still breath in your lungs, if your heart still beats, Dios has more for you, more purpose, more grace, more victory. If you are still standing, however battered, bruised, and weary you may be, it is only because He is not yet finished with His divine work in you, a work of transformation and redemption. You may feel as though you have come through the very gates of hell, enduring unimaginable torment, but the glorious, undeniable truth is that you came through. You are here. You may be bruised, scarred, and aching, but you are not broken beyond His repair. You may be tired, bone-weary, and drained, but you are still chosen by the King of Kings, still precious in His sight. Do not dare to measure the infinite, boundless possibilities of your future by the finite, limited instruments of your present situation. Do not allow your current struggle, no matter how intense, to define your eternal destiny, for your destiny is written by a hand far greater than your own circumstances. Stop looking at what you lack, at the empty spaces in your life, and the resources that seem absent. Stop taking meticulous inventory of your weaknesses, your perceived shortcomings, and your empty storehouses, for that focus will only deepen your despair. Instead, lift your eyes, lift your gaze, and look at WHO you have, at the Almighty One who stands with you. You have Dios. You have the author of all life, the sustainer of all hope, the mover of all mountains, and the commander of all celestial hosts. And He, in His limitless power and wisdom, will handle what you, in your human frailty, cannot. The enemy, the father of lies and deception, wants you to believe that it is definitively over, that you have already lost the battle, that it is far too late for any miracle to occur. The Dios is the one who writes the final triumphant chapter of your story. And until He says it is over with His authoritative voice, it is not over. Until Dios says, enough, the storm will not cease its raging. But when He does speak that powerful word, everything will shift in a single moment, in the twinkling of an eye, aligning with His divine will. You may be walking through a fire right now, an intense trial that feels like it is going to utterly consume you, leaving nothing but ashes behind. But I urge you, my friend, to look deeper, to see beyond the immediate pain and discomfort. What if this inferno is not a punishment for past misdeeds, but a divine positioning for your next season? What if this trial, this arduous test, is not the tragic end of your story, but the necessary strategic setup for your greatest, most glorious chapter yet? What if Dios is not breaking you in a destructive sense, but remaking you meticulously, carefully, like a master sculptor chipping away the extraneous stone to reveal the breathtaking masterpiece hidden within? Trust that Dios sees the grand, intricate design that you, with your limited perspective, cannot fully grasp. Trust that His loving, powerful hands are molding something profoundly beautiful, even in the dust and debris of your broken life. Trust that even in the midst of the most overwhelming chaos, there is a divine and perfect order, a sovereign plan at work. When the time is precisely right, when His purpose is fulfilled, He will deliver you with undeniable power. He will show you why the waiting was absolutely necessary, and why that specific door had to remain closed until He, in His perfect timing, was ready to open it for you. So hold your head high, my beloved, even when the crushing weight of the world seems to be pressing down relentlessly on your weary shoulders. Speak words of life, of hope, and of unwavering faith over yourself, even when your surroundings scream defeat, despair, and utter hopelessness. Declare the powerful victory of the cross, even when all you can see with your natural eyes is profound loss and seemingly insurmountable obstacles. You are not walking this treacherous path alone, navigating its dangers by yourself. The living Diabs walks with you, a constant comforting presence. The captain of the Lord's host fights for you, leading the charge on your behalf. The almighty Diabs himself shields you, providing impenetrable protection. And what he has started in you, the good work he began, he has promised, with an unbreakable covenant, he will bring to completion. Every soul that joins this ministry with a like or a subscription strengthens the wall of faith we are building together, fortifying our collective spirit. If this word, this message has found you in this moment, it is not by mere chance or coincidence, it is a divine appointment. Join this congregation to continue receiving the nourishing bread of life that Deus has specifically prepared for you, a continuous source of strength and guidance. So take that impossible situation, that immense burden that has bent your back and weighed heavily on your soul, and in an act of profound, courageous faith, hold it up before the sacred throne of Deus and let it go. Release your grip. You do not have to fix it with your own efforts. You do not have to figure it all out, unraveling every intricate detail. You do not have to control every last aspect and outcome. All you have to do is believe with a childlike trust in his power. All you have to do is trust unequivocally in his sovereign plan. All you have to do is stay the course, putting one foot of faith resolutely in front of the other, even when the path is unclear. Because your true help does not come from the imposing mountains, from powerful people, or from fragile human systems and institutions. Psalm 121 tells us with divine clarity that your help comes exclusively from the Lord, the majestic maker of heaven and earth. He is not finished with your story, not by a long shot. My friend, he is only just beginning to unfold its most glorious chapters, preparing for a magnificent reveal. The world, with its limited vision and earthly perspective, may look at your life and see only a problem, a tangled mess beyond any hope of repair or redemption. But Deus, with his infinite wisdom and boundless vision, looks at that very same situation and sees not a problem, but a magnificent, unparalleled possibility for his glory to be undeniably revealed. The world may whisper with a tone of finality, "It's over. There is no hope," but Deus declares, with an authoritative voice that shakes the heavens, "Watch what I am about to do." The world may perceive a devastating, irreversible defeat, but Deus is already in this very moment writing the narrative of your triumphant, resounding victory. He will bring astonishing beauty out of your ashes, transforming sorrow into splendor. He will bring divine clarity out of your deepest confusion, illuminating your path. He will bring supernatural strength out of your most arduous struggle, making you resilient beyond measure. And he will handle what you and everyone else around you thought could never, ever be handled. You may not see it yet with your natural eyes, you may not feel it yet in your weary heart, but keep walking, keep believing, keep praying, and keep hoping with unwavering tenacity, because Deus is still actively working behind the scenes, orchestrating his perfect plan. The very situation you were so convinced was sent specifically to destroy you, to dismantle your life, Deus is about to powerfully use to bless you in ways you cannot even begin to imagine, far beyond your wildest dreams. And when you begin to truly, genuinely surrender that impossible thing to him, not halfway, not with one foot still firmly planted in the boat of your own human logic and control, but fully and without any reservation, with absolute trust. You will witness the magnificent unraveling of divine plans that have been meticulously in motion since before you were even born into this world. Dios never sleeps, his watch is eternal. Dios never hesitates, his actions are decisive and perfect. Dios never forgets his beloved children, his memory is infinite. In his infinite wisdom, he allows pressure in our lives not to punish us for our failures, but to powerfully produce something precious in us. Patience in waiting, endurance in tribulation, and a faith that is more precious, more enduring than fine gold. What we often label as a frustrating delay is not a denial from Dios. It is in fact divine development, a crucial part of his refining process. He is meticulously shaping your endurance, forging an unshakable spirit within you. He is refining your faith, purifying it in the fierce furnace of affliction, burning away all impurities and dross. And he is lovingly purging you of any dependence on things that were never, ever meant to carry the immense weight of your eternal soul. Many times, Dios will lovingly strip away every false foundation in your life, your job, your reputation, your relationships, your perceived security, so that you will finally see with undeniable clarity that he alone is your rock, your impenetrable fortress, and your only firm, unshakable foundation. He will allow you to feel the utter fragility of human plans, the fleeting nature of earthly security, so that you can learn through hard-won experience to depend wholly, completely, and without reservation on his divine timing, which is always perfect. He will let the deafening noise of the world, with its incessant demands and distractions, surround you, just to powerfully prove that his gentle, comforting voice still speaks profound peace into the very heart of the storm, cutting through all the chaos. This is how our Dios often operates, not always through immediate comfort or ease, but always unfailingly, with eternal purpose and profound love. He does not waste your suffering. He takes it as a wise farmer takes a precious seed and plants it carefully in the fertile soil of his divine purpose for your life. And when Dios plants a seed of suffering in a human life, he waters it meticulously with his unfailing promises, covers it gently with a season of profound silence, and waits for precisely the right, divinely appointed moment to bring forth an unimaginable harvest of glory, a testimony that will astound. There are moments when the sky over your life will grow dark and foreboding, heavy with storm clouds threatening to engulf you. This is not because Dios has abandoned you or left your side. It is precisely because he is preparing to reveal his brilliant light in a way you have never seen before, a manifestation of his presence that will banish all shadows. The darkness is not always a punishment. Often it is the sacred prelude to the glorious dawn, the necessary canvas for his light to shine. When Dios hid Moses in the desolate desert for 40 long years, it was not rejection or neglect. It was rigorous preparation for the greatest, most consequential task of his entire life, leading a nation to freedom. When he shut the door on one of your cherished dreams, a path you desperately wanted to pursue, it was not to signal your failure or to deny you joy. It was a merciful, divine redirection toward a better, more perfect path he had already prepared for you, one filled with his greater purpose. When he allowed a certain person, perhaps someone you loved and trusted deeply, to walk out of your life, it was not abandonment or an oversight. It was a divine alignment, a sovereign act to make crucial room for those he intends to bring into your life, individuals who will further his plan and bless your journey. You see, Dios sees the end from the very beginning. While you weep in your present confusion, struggling to understand, he is working with perfect clarity and divine precision. While you mourn what you have seemingly lost, grieving its absence, he is already preparing what you are about to gain. something far greater and more enduring. He is not bound by your human calendar with its fleeting deadlines. His miracles are not chained to your ticking clock, constrained by your impatience. You may feel that you are falling behind, that others have passed you by, but God does not forget his children, not for a single moment. He delays only to deliver something greater, something more profound and eternally significant. And when he finally moves on your behalf with his irresistible power, it will not be small or insignificant. It will not be ordinary or easily dismissed. It will not be easily explainable by mere human logic or fortunate coincidence. No, it will be undeniably him, an unmistakable mark of the divine. The results will be so precise, so perfectly timely, so undeniably miraculous that no one, absolutely no one, will be able to attribute it to luck, to chance, or to your own efforts. They will be compelled by the sheer evidence of your transformed life to look at your circumstances and say with awe and conviction, "This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes." That is the authentic, unadulterated glory of Dios. You may have looked around your life and thought, with a pang of despair, everyone else is being blessed, experiencing breakthroughs, but Dios has surely forgotten me. I am overlooked. Let me declare this powerful, comforting truth over your life right now. Dios is not ignoring you. He is preparing you for something truly significant, something profound and impactful. Sometimes the longer the period of preparation, the greater and more weighty the assignment he has in store for you. Sometimes the deeper the valley of weeping, the more profound the sorrow you experience. The higher the mountain of victory he is taking you to, a triumph that will eclipse your trials. And that situation you have so readily labeled impossible, that overwhelming challenge, that is the very stage Dios will use, not for your defeat, but to showcase his magnificent, unparalleled power to a watching, waiting world. Do not let this temporary storm, no matter how fierce, cause you to forget his eternal, unchanging promises. Do not let the crushing weight of your present trial make you question the immense worth of your journey with him, a journey of divine purpose. Dios did not bring you this far only to leave you stranded, abandoned, in the wilderness of your despair. What our Dios starts, he always finishes, and his finish is always full, always good, and always right on time. Do not give up now. Do not let the enemy convince you that this is the absolute end. Do not let your fleeting emotions sabotage your enduring, precious faith. Dios is about to turn it all around, dramatically. But he is waiting for you to trust him completely, without reservation or doubt. Not just with your words or with a superficial acknowledgement, but with your whole being, your entire heart, mind, and soul. Let your tears of sorrow, those bitter drops you have cried, water the seeds of your fervent prayers, nourishing them for growth. Let your weariness, that deep fatigue that saps your strength, become the very fire that ignites your desperate cry for his divine help, a raw, honest plea. Let your desperation, that feeling of being at rock bottom, become your powerful declaration. Dios, I cannot do this, but I know with absolute certainty that you can. That, my friend, is not a statement of weakness or defeat. That is, in fact, the ultimate statement of profound spiritual power, a recognition of where true strength lies. That is the kind of surrender that opens the very windows of heaven, allowing blessings to pour forth. That is the kind of raw, honest faith that stirs the unseen spiritual realm and moves the very hand of Deus himself, activating his power. There is a profound reason he allows you to face things that are far too big, far too complex for you to handle on your own. It is so you will finally stop relying on your own frail, limited strength and learn definitively to rely wholly on his infinite, inexhaustible might. Deus wants to prove to you once and for all with undeniable evidence that he is enough. Not your qualifications, no matter how impressive. Not your connections, no matter how influential. Not your bank account, no matter how substantial. Him and him alone is all you truly need. When you have nothing left but Deus, when all your human supports have fallen away, you will finally discover with astounding clarity that Deus is more than enough, supremely sufficient for every need. He becomes your ultimate provider when your resources run dry and scarcity looms. He becomes your tender comforter when your heart is broken into 1,000 pieces. He becomes your fierce defender when you are falsely accused and unjustly attacked. He becomes your waymaker when you are trapped, seeing no escape, and every path seems blocked. In the midnight hour of your soul, when darkness presses in, he is your profound peace. In the courtroom of life where you face judgment, he is your unwavering advocate. In the hospital room, filled with uncertainty, he is your ultimate healer. In the suffocating silence of despair, he is your absolute assurance, your steadfast hope. Do not chase fleeting comfort. Chase Deus. Do not chase specific predetermined outcomes. Chase unwavering obedience to him, for that is where true life is found. When you walk with Deus, even when the terrain is rough, treacherous, and fraught with peril, the destination is always, without exception, glorious. Even when the valley is dark and filled with the deepest shadows, the very presence of Deus transforms it into a holy, sacred place, radiating his light. The world, with its cynical perspective, may call you foolish for believing in a Deus you cannot physically see, for placing your trust in the unseen. But when your breakthrough undeniably comes, when his power is revealed in your life, they will have no choice but to acknowledge that something divine, something supernatural, has profoundly touched your life. Let this truth be the unshakable anchor for your soul, holding you steady amidst every storm. Deus never, ever loses control. Not in the bewildering chaos of your circumstances, not in the debilitating confusion of your mind, not even in the deepest crisis of your faith. Even when everything around you seems to be falling apart, crumbling into dust, he is holding everything together, meticulously, by the sheer power of his living word. You may not understand the complex how or the perplexing why, but if you simply trust the omnipotent WHO, you will not need to. You will learn to walk by faith and not by sight, a liberating way of living. You will walk with a quiet, unshakable confidence, not because the road ahead is smooth, easy, or clearly visible, but because the one who walks intimately with you is mighty, powerful beyond comprehension. And know this deeply: you are not suffering without purpose, enduring pain without meaning. You are on a divine path, intricately designed by him, even if you do not immediately recognize the scenery or understand its direction. That situation that looks so utterly impossible to you, that overwhelming challenge, is the very ground where Deus is planting the precious seeds for your next season of powerful testimony, a story that will glorify his name. He is going to bring you through this trial, this crucible, in such a profound way that others will look at your life and see his unmistakable fingerprints all over it, an undeniable mark of his intervention. Not because you were so strong or so resilient in yourself, but because you were so completely surrendered to his will. Not because you had it all figured out, but because you finally let Deus take over, relinquishing control. This is not the end of your story. It is, in fact, the most important transformative chapter yet to be written. When he brings you out, and he absolutely will bring you out, you will not just barely survive the ordeal, you will thrive, flourishing in ways you never thought possible. You will not come out limping in defeat, bruised and broken. You will come out lifted high in triumph and undeniable victory. You will not come out bitter and resentful, burdened by the past. You will come out better, stronger, and more refined than ever before, a testament to His grace. And the very mouths that spoke against you, that doubted your worth, will be forced to witness your glorious rising. The same hands that tried to block your blessing, that sought to hinder your progress, will watch it overflow abundantly, because no one, no power on earth or in hell can stop what Dios has divinely ordained for your life. No one can reverse what Dios has spoken with His authoritative word. No one can silence a testimony that Dios Himself has breathed life into, for it carries His eternal power. So right now, in the very midst of your storm, praise Him as if the answer is already on its glorious way. Thank Him as if the immense burden is already visibly lifting from your shoulders. Walk as if the chains that bound you have already been decisively broken and fallen away. Speak as if the door, which once seemed immovably shut, is already swinging open wide to reveal new opportunities. Because when Dios steps into any situation with His sovereign presence and power, everything that is not of Him, everything that opposes His will, must shift, must yield. Mountains must move from their foundations. Walls of opposition, no matter how formidable, must fall. Enemies must flee in disarray. And the impossible, that which defied all human logic, must bow its knee and become your living, breathing testimony to His greatness. This, my friend, is your moment of faith. This is your hour of complete surrender. Do not wait for everything to be perfect, for all conditions to align, to trust Dios. Trust Him right in the middle of the mess, in the heart of the chaos. Trust Him in the deep uncertainty, when clarity is elusive. Trust Him in the profound silence, when answers seem distant. Trust Him when it hurts the most, when your spirit is bruised, because the same Dios who holds entire galaxies precisely in place, orchestrating their every movement, is also holding your specific personal situation tenderly in the palm of His hand. And He will not, He cannot fail you. Even now, as I speak these words of truth and encouragement, I believe with unwavering conviction that angels are being dispatched on your behalf, moving swiftly across the spiritual landscape. Solutions are being formed intricately and perfectly in the infinite mind of Dios. Answers are aligning in the spiritual realm, preparing for manifestation in your physical reality. Help, divine and powerful, is undeniably on the way. The prophet Zechariah chapter 4 verse 6 powerfully reminds us that it is not by might nor by power of man, but by my Spirit, says the Lord of hosts. It will happen by His divine decree and His unstoppable sovereign will. Keep your heart pure. Keep your spirit humble and teachable. Keep your eyes fixed unswervingly on the Almighty. He is about to take that impossibility that has haunted you, that has tormented your thoughts, and turn it into undeniable, irrefutable proof of His goodness, His power, and His magnificent greatness. And I say this with unshakable conviction, with absolute certainty in my soul. When you finally step back, when you stop striving and stop desperately trying to fix everything with your own limited, finite strength, that is the precise moment Dios steps in, powerfully, with His limitless, infinite power. You cannot carry what was meant for His shoulders alone. It is a weight too heavy for any human to bear. You cannot solve a problem that was never from its very beginning in your hands to control. You were not created to figure out every intricate detail of your deliverance, to map out every step of your rescue. You were created uniquely to trust the one who sees the end from the beginning and holds the keys to every locked door, every impossible barrier. When your situation surpasses all human reason, when it defies logical explanation, that is exactly where true faith must rise, taking center stage. When the path ahead is no longer visible, when the fog of uncertainty obscures your way, that is when you must walk in absolute unreserved trust, knowing deep in your spirit that Dios himself is personally directing every unseen step, guiding you through the darkness. Too often, we bind ourselves with the heavy chains of fear, convinced that the impossible is the absolute end of the road, the final chapter. But the impossible, my friend, is not the end. It is in fact the glorious beginning of Dios's divine, powerful intervention, his miraculous entry into your story. Use waits until the deafening noise of your own frantic efforts dies down, until your striving ceases. He waits patiently until your carefully crafted plans, built on human logic, crumble to dust, revealing their fragility. He waits until your pride surrenders, until you relinquish your need for control, so that when the victory undeniably comes, you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was never you, never your strength or cleverness, but always Him. Always His power, His grace, His timing. That is where true, lasting peace is found. Not in fully understanding the storm, but in knowing with absolute certainty that the storm itself must obey the authoritative voice of your Dios. Not in avoiding the fire, but in knowing that the fire, no matter how intense, cannot consume you, because Dios himself walks with you in the very midst of it, protecting you. Do not fear the delay, no matter how protracted it seems. Do not resent the struggle, no matter how painful it feels. Some blessings, the most profound and impactful ones, take longer to arrive because they are being built to last for generations, to endure through time. And when Dios builds, He digs the foundations deep, ensuring stability and longevity. He does not construct on shallow, unstable ground. His works are eternal. He strengthens your roots in the hidden, unseen places of your being before He allows your branches to be fully revealed, before He brings forth the visible fruit. What looks like a dry, barren season in your life, a period of apparent stagnation, is often the deep, silent, crucial work of Dios, establishing you, grounding you firmly in His eternal truth, and lovingly removing anything that would cause you to collapse under the immense weight of the blessing that is undoubtedly to come. Sometimes He purposely slows you down, not to hinder, but because the blessing itself is running ahead and needs time to mature, to be fully prepared. Sometimes He wisely shields you from what you think you want, because He knows with perfect foresight that it would ultimately destroy what He knows you truly, profoundly need for your spiritual growth. Dios's timing is not your timing, which is often impatient, but His timing is always, without exception, perfect, flawless, and divinely orchestrated. You do not need to know precisely when His plan will unfold. You just need to know with absolute certainty what is in complete control. You do not need to understand all the intricate details of the plan, the complex blueprint of your life. You just need to rest in the unwavering certainty that Dios never makes a single mistake, not one. He allows the pressure in your life to press out the weakness, the impurities, and the things that hinder your growth. He allows the seasons of silence, those quiet, reflective periods, to sharpen your spiritual ears, to hear His gentle, guiding whisper, discern His voice amidst the noise. He allows the waiting, the periods of patience, to deepen your dependence upon Him and Him alone, making Him your sole source. Because when the blessing finally comes, and believe me, my friend, it will come with undeniable power, you will not just thank Him for the precious gift, you will praise Him with a grateful heart for the painful refining process that made you ready, truly ready to receive it and steward it well. And if this message is a wellspring for your thirsty soul, a source of refreshing truth, I invite you to join our digital congregation by subscribing so that we may continue to walk this sacred path of faith together, strengthening and encouraging one another in His truth. And what about those gut-wrenching moments when everything collapses, when the foundation cracks beneath your feet and the roof of your life caves in around you? That is when most people run in panic, succumb to fear, and give up all hope, believing all is lost. But not you, my friend, because you know a profound secret that others in their despair do not. Dios is in the rubble too. He is not absent from your brokenness. He is not only the Dios of the sunlit mountaintop, the triumphs and celebrations. He is profoundly the Dios of the broken places, the shattered dreams, and the desolate valleys. He rebuilds meticulously, patiently. He restores, bringing wholeness where there was fragmentation. He revives, breathing new life into what was dead. And when Dios rebuilds a life, He does not merely restore it to what it was before, He restores it to something more. More peace, more wisdom, more strength, more clarity of purpose. He breaks you only to bless you more profoundly. He uproots you from barren ground only to replant you in richer, more fertile soil. He allows the storm only to wash away what could never truly hold you, what was never meant to be your ultimate foundation. You may not see it now with your current perspective, but you are walking step by step into something greater, more profound than you have ever known or imagined. The tears you cry in secret today, those quiet expressions of anguish, are watering a harvest of blessings you have not yet seen, a future abundance. The prayers you whisper in your moments of deepest weakness, when words are difficult, are echoing like thunder in the majestic halls of heaven, reaching His throne. The immense burdens you carry in silence, those unspoken weights, are being lifted by the powerful, compassionate hands of the Almighty Himself. Dios does not ignore your pain. He responds to it with His unparalleled power, His active intervention. He does not overlook your faith, no matter how small. He honors it with His divine favor and blessing. And when He decides to move on your behalf, it will not be subtle or easily missed. It will be undeniably supernatural, a clear sign of His hand. The very thing that once mocked you, that caused you shame, will become a powerful witness to your glorious rising. The very people who doubted you, who dismissed your potential, will see the undeniable glory of Dios unfold in your life, a testament to His faithfulness. You are not stuck in your current predicament. You are being strategically stationed by your Commander-in-Chief for a divine purpose. You are not forgotten in the grand scheme of things. You are being fortified, strengthened like steel for the spiritual battle ahead, preparing you for victory. You are not abandoned to your own devices. You are being appointed for a divine purpose, a mission uniquely yours. Dios is setting you up, not for mere survival in the face of adversity, but for eternal significance, for a life that impacts generations. He is preparing a table for you in the very presence of your enemies, not just a meal, but a profound message, a powerful testimony, an undeniable witness to the world that Dios alone is truly able. He alone brings victory out of crushing defeat, peace out of overwhelming chaos, and astonishing beauty out of what was once mere ashes. He turns the weeping into heartfelt rejoicing, the heavy burden into an unexpected blessing, and the profound silence into a glorious song of praise. One day, you will look back on this challenging season, this so-called impossible situation, and you will not remember the pain as much as you will vividly remember the tangible, comforting, powerful presence of Dios that sustained you, moment by moment, through it all. You will say with the psalmist, with a heart overflowing with gratitude, if it had not been for the Lord who was on my side, truly I would have fallen, I would have given up, I would have broken apart under the pressure, but you did not. Because Dios Himself held you together miraculously when you felt yourself fragmenting. He covered you with His protective feathers. He whispered strength into your weary bones, revitalizing your spirit. He gave you just enough grace, precisely what you needed, to take one more step and then another. And step by step, he faithfully brought you through the fire, purified and stronger. The power of Deus is not limited by human logic, by earthly understanding, or by the constraints of the natural world. He does not need visible evidence or tangible proof to perform a miracle. He creates the evidence. He does not wait for a committee's validation or human approval to do the impossible. His authority is supreme. Deus speaks, and the entire universe, with its vastness and complexity, aligns itself obediently to his word. Deus decrees, and nature itself, with all its forces, obeys his command without question. When Deus says it is time for a thing to happen, nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop it from coming to pass. Not the economy, no matter how volatile. Not your past mistakes, no matter how grave. Not the fleeting opinions of other people, no matter how influential. Not even the rigid laws of man can stand against him. What Deus wills, will be. And no force in hell or on earth, no adversary, no circumstance can rewrite what Deus has already authored, meticulously designed for your precious life. So lift your head, child of Deus, lift your gaze from your present troubles. Even if you feel weak, declare your unwavering hope in him. Speak of his power. Even if your heart trembles with fear, speak of his coming victory, his certain triumph. Even if your surroundings scream defeat and despair, whisper of his unfailing faithfulness, for his word is true. Because your power is not in the volume of your own voice or in your human eloquence. It is in the undeniable authority of the one who stands firmly behind it, validating every word. And Deus is behind you, guarding your past. Deus is before you, securing your future. Deus is all around you, enveloping you in his presence. And Deus is within reach, closer than you think. Call on him, not as a desperate last resort, but as your first, most powerful line of defense. Seek him, not merely for a quick fix to your immediate problems, but because you know deep in your soul that only he can make the crooked path straight and the shattered heart whole again, restoring it completely. Let this profound truth penetrate to the very marrow of your bones, sinking deep into your spirit. Deus is not intimidated by the sheer magnitude of your struggle, by the overwhelming size of your problems. He is not overwhelmed by the chaos that surrounds you, no matter how intense or confusing. He does not flinch when others fail you, when human support crumbles. He does not withdraw his presence or his power when the pressure builds, when the world seems to press in on every side. In fact, it is in those very moments, when the weight of the world seems utterly unbearable, that Deus chooses, with divine purpose, to show himself strongest, to reveal his unmatched power. For it is precisely when you are at your weakest, when your human strength has completely faded, that his strength shines brightest and is perfected in you, reaching its full potential. Let others lean on their clever strategies, their human connections, and their worldly wisdom. But you, dear soul, stand firm, unyielding in this unshakable truth. Deus is enough. He is more than sufficient for every single need. You do not need to be perfect in your performance. You do not need to have all the answers, to understand every detail of his plan. You just need to believe with a simple, pure faith that the same Deus who breathed life into your lungs, who gave you your very existence, is still actively working behind the scenes, orchestrating everything for your good, even when you cannot see his hand. He is meticulously weaving together every broken thread of your life, every mistake, every pain, into a magnificent masterpiece of his grace, a testament to his redemptive power. That door of opportunity you are praying for may not look exactly like you expected. It may not appear in the form you anticipated. But when Deus opens it with his divine authority, no man, no power, no circumstance can shut it again. And when he closes a door, even if you do not understand why in the moment, Even if it brings disappointment, it is because he sees what you, with your limited vision, cannot. He sees the hidden trap concealed within the alluring opportunity. He sees the heavy burden that comes with the blessing you thought you wanted, a weight you were not prepared to carry. He sees the danger, the subtle peril, behind the desire you pursued. So when he redirects your path, when he changes your course, it is not rejection or denial. It is in fact divine protection, a loving safeguard. When he says not yet, it is not punishment or indifference. It is loving preparation, a refining process. When he says no, with his ultimate wisdom, it is because something infinitely greater, something far more glorious and perfect, is undeniably on its way. The journey of faith is not always paved with ease, comfort, or convenience. It is often rough, steep, and challenging, testing the very limits of our endurance. But it is always, without exception, purposeful, designed with eternal intent. Dose does not lead you into the valley of shadows, into moments of deep struggle, just to abandon you there in despair. He takes you through the valley, guiding you step by step to teach you profound lessons, to grow you spiritually, and to reveal himself to you in ways that can only be seen, can only be truly experienced, when your hands are empty, stripped of all self-reliance, and your heart is desperate, utterly dependent on him. When there is nothing left for you to hold on to but your unwavering faith in Dios, that is the moment you become truly rich, spiritually wealthy beyond measure. That is when you learn to walk, not by sight, not by the approval of men, not by fleeting feelings of comfort, but by the unquenchable fire of unshakable trust burning deep within your soul. Do not underestimate the profound value of the valley experience. It is in the valley, in the hidden depths, that your spiritual roots grow deepest into the rich soil of his unfailing faithfulness, anchoring you for future storms. It is in the hidden, silent places of your life that Dios does his most profound, most transformative work, shaping you from the inside out. You are not being buried beneath the weight of your circumstances. You are being strategically planted, sown for a future harvest. You are not being forgotten or overlooked. You are being formed, meticulously molded for his divine purpose. The soil may be dark, and the process may seem painfully slow and arduous, but Dios does not rush the majestic growth of an oak tree. He does not create weak or shallow foundations. What he is building in you through this season is meant to last for eternity. It cannot be shaken by the fiercest storms of this life. It may take longer than you planned or desired, but it will stand far longer, far more resilient than you ever dreamed possible. And yes, people may walk away from you in this season of trial. They may mock your persistent faith, questioning your sanity. They may not understand why you still pray, why you still hope, why you still believe, when nothing on the outside seems to be visibly changing, when there are no immediate signs. But do not you dare be discouraged, not for a single moment, by those who can only live by what their natural eyes can see, by empirical evidence alone. You are not walking by human sight or by worldly wisdom. You are walking by divine revelation, by the light of his truth. Deez is not a myth, a distant philosophical concept, or an abstract idea. He is the living, breathing, ever-present sustainer of all things, the animating force of the universe. He is nearer than the breath in your lungs, closer than the very thoughts in your mind. He is with you not only in your triumphs and victories, but most especially in your darkest, most desperate, most vulnerable hour. Let the world put its fragile trust in its man-made systems, in its fleeting economies, in its shifting powers. Let others chase applause, material gain, and temporary recognition. But you must make the conscious, unwavering choice to trust in the Deity who never fails, who does not bend to external pressure, The Deus who is the same yesterday, today, and forever, his character unchanging. When everything else in your life fades away, when all earthly supports crumble, he alone remains, steadfast and eternal. When people disappoint you, as they inevitably will, he strengthens you, providing an inner fortitude. When life wounds you deeply, leaving scars, he heals you, bringing restoration. And when the world, with its limited perspective, tells you, with a tone of finality, that it is definitively over, Dios leans in with his gentle, powerful voice and whispers, "I am just beginning." So I ask you today with sincerity, what are you holding on to so tightly, with such a desperate grip, that you need to finally release into the sovereign, capable hands of Dios? Is it the paralyzing fear of the unknown future? Is it the insatiable need to be in control of every outcome? Is it the silent shame from your past mistakes and regrets? Is it the persistent pain of unanswered questions that haunt you? Let it go. Let it fall from your weary, aching hands. Let it break if it must, for in its breaking, it makes room for his divine intervention. Because whatever you place in Dios' hands becomes holy, consecrated for his purpose. Whatever you surrender completely to him becomes his responsibility, his divine care. And our Dios never ever mismanages what belongs to him. He stewards it perfectly. You may think your faith is too small, that your hope is too weak, too fragile to make any tangible difference in your overwhelming situation. But even the smallest seed of faith, as tiny as a mustard seed, when placed in the fertile soil of complete surrender, when nurtured by his divine grace, can grow into an unshakable mighty tree, a monument to his power, when Dios is the one nurturing it, tending to its growth. Faith is not about how strong you feel in the moment, how confident or self-assured you are. It is about how much you trust the one who is truly, infinitely strong, the source of all power. You do not have to carry the immense weight of the world on your shoulders, for it was never meant for you alone. You just need to rest securely in the eternal, comforting arms of the one who already does, the one who upholds all creation. In your midnight hour, when no one answers the phone, when the silence screams louder than your anxious thoughts, cry out to Dios, not with perfect rehearsed prayers, but with the raw, honest, unfiltered cry of your soul, a desperate plea from the depths of your being. He hears you. He honors that cry, and he answers. His answer, when it comes, may not always be what you expect or what you initially desired, but it will always, without fail, be what you profoundly need for your ultimate good and his glory. Dios does not just bring you out of the trial, he brings you out changed, transformed, refined by the experience. He does not just remove the burden from you, he teaches you how to walk lighter, how to live with a freedom you never knew possible. He does not just end the storm, he teaches you how to find his profound peace in the very midst of the storm, a serenity that defies circumstances, because real spiritual strength is not found in escaping the struggle or avoiding adversity. It is found in walking through it with grace and resilience, trusting that Dios is still actively working, still orchestrating his plan, even when you cannot see the work being done, even when his hand seems hidden. Let your faith be louder, more resonant than your fear. Let your surrender be stronger, more resolute than your worry. Let your praise, your adoration rise above your overwhelming problem. Because when you magnify Dios above your situation, when you exalt him above your troubles, your situation begins miraculously to shrink in his majestic presence. When you purposefully shift your focus from the perceived impossibility of the moment, from the overwhelming challenges to the infinite capability of your Creator, the architect of the universe, everything truly changes. Not always on the outside, not immediately in your external circumstances at first, but something powerful, something eternal begins to rise and transform on the inside of you, a deep spiritual shift. You are not a helpless victim of your circumstances, bound by fate. You are a chosen vessel for Diaz's unparalleled power, an instrument in his hands. You are not defined by what you have lost, by your past failures, or by the pain you have endured. You are defined by what you now carry within you: endurance forged in fire, strength born of weakness, and an unshakable faith refined through adversity. You are not alone in this battle, facing it by yourself. Diaz goes before you to clear the way, to remove obstacles. He stands beside you to strengthen you, empowering your every step, and he surrounds you as your powerful rear guard, protecting you from behind. You do not need to fear the future, because Diaz holds it securely in his hand. You do not need to dread the unknown, because absolutely nothing is unknown to him. He sees all. And listen closely to this, for it is a sacred, profound truth that will anchor your soul. The very area of your life where you feel the weakest, where you perceive your greatest vulnerability, is often the precise place where Dios wants to display his greatest strength, his most magnificent power. The very scar you try so desperately to hide, to cover up in shame, is the very place where Dios wants to place his glory, transforming your wound into a testament. The very failure you regret the most, that painful memory that haunts you, is the place he will use to birth your most powerful, most impactful testimony, a story that will give hope to countless others. What you consider your greatest embarrassment, a source of deep shame, Dios may sovereignly use as your greatest empowerment, a catalyst for his purpose. He does not call the flawless or the perfect. He calls the willing, those with a surrendered heart. He does not require your perfection, for he knows your frailty. He responds to your surrender, to your yielding, and he does not judge you by where you are right now in your current state. He sees with his eternal perspective where he is faithfully taking you. And believe me, my friend, he is not finished with you, not even close. That impossible situation you currently face, that challenge that defies all human solution, may be the very place where your greatest miracle is about to take place, a divine intervention that will stun. Do not run from it in fear. Do not hide from it in shame. Do not curse it in anger or despair. Instead, stand bravely before it, facing it squarely, and declare over it with the authority of a child of the King, Dios will handle this. And then, having released it to him, walk forward in a profound peace that surpasses all human understanding, because he absolutely will handle it in his perfect way and time. Rise up, not in your own fleeting, limited strength, but in the eternal, inexhaustible strength that flows directly from trusting the one who reigns over all, the sovereign Lord of the universe. The strength that comes not from control, but from complete, unreserved surrender. The strength that floods your soul when you finally stop striving, stop trying to fix everything yourself, and start resting securely in the liberating truth that Dios is truly, completely in charge. You were never meant to carry what Dios has already claimed as his own, a burden he alone can bear. You were never asked to fix what only Dios can heal, to mend what only his touch can restore. You were never expected to understand every twist and turn of the journey, every intricate detail of the path, only to walk with the unwavering faith that the path itself was drawn by his steady, unerring hand. There is no chaos too deep, no confusion too profound for Dios to calm and bring order to. There is no fire too hot, no trial too intense for Dios to walk you through, protecting you within the flames. There is no prison so tight, no captivity so complete, that Dios cannot break its chains and set you free. He is the opener of doors that men have declared permanently shut, firmly sealed. He is the lifter of heads when shame and despair weigh them down, restoring dignity. He is the restorer of hope when the heart has grown numb from prolonged pain, reigniting the flame of expectation. And when you think all is irrevocably lost, when your resources are gone and your soul is bone-weary, Dios speaks one powerful word, and suddenly what looked dead begins to miraculously live again, bursting forth with new life. You see, Dios does not need the approval of people, the validation of man, to bless you abundantly. He does not wait for a committee to assess and validate your worth. Your worth is established in Him. He does not need the economy to be favorable or the external circumstances to be ideal, perfectly aligned for His action. Dios creates His own conditions, orchestrating events according to His sovereign will. He brings forth refreshing rivers in the dry, parched desert, providing life where there was barrenness. He brings His glorious light into the darkest night, dispelling all shadows. He brings breakthrough through walls that looked impenetrable, insurmountable. He specializes in writing awe-inspiring stories of victory on pages that were once stained with loss, etched with sorrow, and tear-soaked with despair. That is the quiet, yet absolute, sovereign power of our Dios, working in ways that defy human expectation. And some of you listening today need to hear this profound truth deeply in your spirit, letting it settle into the very core of your being. Your tears have not gone unnoticed. Every single one is seen by Him. Every cry, every desperate prayer, every sigh you released in the stillness of the night, when no one else was listening, has risen to the heavens as a sacred memorial before Him, a testament to your faith. Dios is not passive, observing from a distance. He is not unmoved by your pain, by the anguish of your heart, nor is He deaf to the groans of a soul weighed down by life's heavy burdens. He answers, but not always in the immediate way you imagine or in the timing you desire. Sometimes His answer is not immediate relief from the trial, but profound revelation, a deeper understanding of His character. Sometimes He does not remove the storm, but He strengthens you, empowers you to walk on the very water with Him, demonstrating His presence in the midst of adversity. And when you come through it, because you will come through it, by His grace you will find that Dios was not far off, distant and remote, but closer to you than He had ever been before, a constant companion. Stop measuring your future potential by your past failures, by the mistakes you have made. Stop looking at your reflection through the distorted, unreliable mirror of disappointment, letting it define you. You are not what happened to you. You are who Dios says you are, chosen, equipped, prepared, and covered by the precious blood of the Lamb, eternally redeemed. When Dios decides it is time to bless you, to pour out His favor, no betrayal, no act of human treachery can block it. No delay, no matter how frustrating, can deny it. No negative voice, no cynical pronouncement can cancel it. When He declares a thing with His divine authority, it is done, it is accomplished. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in life are surprisingly disguised as breakdowns, appearing initially as moments of complete failure. Some of the most profound blessings, the most significant gifts, come wrapped in the fierce, challenging paper of battle, forged in conflict. Some of the most powerful transformations, the deepest changes, begin with what feels like total, utter destruction, a tearing down of all you knew. Why? Because Dios sometimes has to tear down what was built in our own pride, in our own self-sufficiency, and by our own limited strength, in order to raise up something new, something greater, something that will glorify only Him, a testament to His power. And when Dios builds, He builds with eternal purpose, with lasting intent. What He builds lasts. What He touches is transformed, elevated. What He blesses multiplies, yielding abundant fruit. If you believe in the restoring, transforming power of His hand, declare it with me by writing "I believe" in the comments, affirming this truth in your heart. So if it feels like your life is in pieces right now, shattered and fragmented, do not despair, do not lose hope. Dios is still the master potter, the divine craftsman, and a good potter does not throw away the clay just because it has been marred or imperfect. He does not discard the vessel simply because it is broken. Instead, he sees its potential for something new. He gathers the pieces with infinite care. He puts it back on the wheel. He reshapes it. He reworks it. He remolds it gently with his loving hands, infusing it with new purpose. And when he is done, the new vessel, beautifully reformed, will be more beautiful, more meaningful, and more enduring than you ever imagined it could be, reflecting his glory. But you must trust the process, even when it is painful. You must submit to his timing, even when it feels slow. You must let Dios be Dios, sovereign and supreme, not just in theory, not just in your Sunday worship, but in the gritty reality of your daily decisions, your raw emotions, your carefully laid plans, and most of all, your deepest pain. Stop rehearsing the worst-case scenarios in your mind, allowing fear to dictate your thoughts. Stop reliving the disappointments of the past, allowing them to define your present. Stop magnifying the size of the obstacle before you, making it seem larger than it truly is. Instead, begin with intentionality to magnify Dios. Speak his power aloud in your home, in your car, wherever you are. Declare his undeniable ability even before you see any visible evidence of it, for that is the essence of true faith. Not denying the painful reality of your circumstances, but choosing consciously to believe in a higher reality, an eternal truth, that above all the painful facts of your situation stands the eternal truth of his word, unwavering and absolute. And the truth is, Dios reigns. He reigns supreme above the dire diagnosis, above the crushing debt, above the sting of betrayal, above the suffocating fear. Our Dios is greater, infinitely greater than anything you face. And when his time comes with perfect precision, he will lift you up, not by force or by human effort, but by divine appointment, by his sovereign decree. When he exalts you, when he raises you up, no one, no power can demote you or tear you down. When he promotes you, opening doors of opportunity, no one can block it or stand in its way. Your name will be remembered not because of your human connections, your worldly influence, or your personal achievements, but because of his divine covenant with you, his unbreakable promise. You will walk through doors you did not even knock on, doors divinely opened for you. You will receive answers to prayers you did not even know how to articulate, prayers his Spirit translated for you. You will be surrounded by a profound peace that makes no logical sense whatsoever to the outside world, a peace that transcends understanding. That is what happens undeniably when you finally let Dios handle your impossible situation, when you surrender it completely. And make no mistake, what feels utterly impossible to you, what overwhelms your spirit, is elementary to Dios, simple in his sight. What overwhelms you, causing you great anxiety, is small in his mighty hand. You are not alone in this. His presence is constant. Your weakness does not disqualify you from his purpose. It actually invites his strength, making room for his power to shine. Your faith, no matter how small, even a tiny flicker, moves the heavens when it is placed solely in Dios alone, for it activates his infinite power. So walk forward with courage, not because the way ahead is easy, smooth, or without peril, but because Dios is faithful, his promise is sure. Face the uncertainty of tomorrow, not with fear or trepidation, but with the firm belief that the one who holds the entire universe in his hand also securely holds your hand, guiding your steps. Let your life become a living, breathing testimony, a powerful story for others to witness that yes, it got hard. Yes, you almost gave up, nearly surrendered to despair. But Dios stepped in. He made a way where there was no way, forging a path through the impossible. He lifted the burden from your shoulders. He silenced the raging storm, bringing calm. He turned the impossible into the undeniable, a miracle for all to see. And one day you will tell your story, not with sorrow or regret, but with strength and resilience. Not with shame, but with glory, giving all credit to Him. Because you will know deep in your spirit, with absolute certainty, that it was not luck. It was not coincidence or chance. It was Dios. Only Dios. Always Dios. Forever Dios. Working in your life.